Hello everybody, Wade Griniger with Archery Country, tips and tricks to making you a better archer, more accurate archer, making archery fun again. Today we're going to go over some release aids, the three most popular release aids, and also going to show you a few tricks on how to shoot them more accurately. So a swear word in archery is called target panic. And if you've ever experienced it, you know that it can be absolutely terrible to get over. Maybe you haven't gotten over it. You hold and you lock low left or low right if you're a right or left-handed shooter, and then you end up doing a drive-by. You get to the middle and you boom, or you come down from the top and it's there and then you send it. No matter what style of release that you shoot. So there's a couple different things that we'll go over today on all three of them. Doesn't matter what release you shoot. I don't care about what release you shoot. I just want you to shoot them properly. And a few things that have helped me get over that. So the first and foremost is probably the tried and true index style finger release. Okay, wrist strap is what it's going to be used for. There's a whole bunch of different brands on these, sensitivity that you can adjust on some of the higher end models. The first and foremost thing that I see almost every day, someone will come into the shop and this is set way too long, so when they get it on their wrist and they're shooting it, they use the tip of their finger. It's literally that is where they're at, and they're engaging it there. So you see how much movement that is. And travel causes anticipation, which causes panic. Anticipation and target panic are pretty much the same word. So we're gonna actually shoot a real bow instead of a training device, just to show you when you get into your anchor and how to shoot it. So instead of the tip, what I really have a lot of success with is deep. So you can see, and I have bigger hands, but how far back this release is on my finger. So that second knuckle, the biggest knuckle on your finger, or closest to your palm, that's actually how I'm shooting my release. I'm gonna grab it around that deep and then put pressure on the release and then use my elbow and pull through the back. So imagine if you're standing against a wall or out on your range, you're gonna throw your elbow all the way back. So we'll get into our anchor. You see how deep I am on the release? So I've already put pressure on there, my finger. I'm not gonna punch it, but what I'm gonna do is you can see how surprising that was. Just running pressure on the trigger. And it's not sensitive there, so you're not grasping it and going through. And that's how I would shoot an index style release, a little bit more accurate, just deeper in that valley of your finger, and then pull. And you'll notice that it'll slow your pin movement down quite a bit. Second, we're gonna go to a thumb style. A lot of target archers have adapted this, and now a lot of hunters, both men and women. It's still a trigger. It's still gonna be a sear setup that you release by moving that sear back on in the internal component. And some of the nicer models, you can adjust the trigger travel and the sensitivity. And again, but you can punch this. So you can be back here and boom, and she's gone. So there's still target panic if you do not shoot this properly. Two ways or two styles that I see a lot of accuracy come out of this release. First is you're gonna anchor a little bit different than your four finger style. And again, we're gonna talk deeper than your thumb, not out on the tip, but you're gonna go to either the first or the second web on your finger. So the first, if we were there, the first style to shoot this is you're gonna put pressure with your ring finger and your thumb. You're gonna try to bring those together and it goes off, okay? That's probably the most common reaction or most common way to style is a collapse of both this finger and your thumb bringing together and the release fires. The second is you're gonna get deeper in that release, and I actually use on this style, I put my thumb, and you can see how my fingernail is gonna turn white. I put pressure on that. I'm not actually putting pressure down on anything but that, and what it does is it creates a block so that my thumb cannot move. And then when it's there, what I'm doing is I'm pulling with my elbow, again, through the back wall. And when I do that, it's gonna fire. So if you see that at full draw, And again, this any style release, it's still you're going to want the word surprise. So I'm back, I'm putting pressure with my thumb. So there's a block. I get in my anchor, and I'm just going to start pulling with my elbow. And you see there's no jump. I don't know how many of you have been at full draw and you're on the target and you're like, yep, now, but you don't want to, and you get that, it's stutter step. There's none of that because you got pressure here and you're just pulling with your elbow. And last but not least is the back tension. Very, very few archers shoot a back tension or a hinge style release for hunting. I do, simply because that's what I want to shoot all year long. So I shoot it the same for my hunting bow as I do my target bow. I set up the sensitivity. Hinges are probably the most simple setup. There is a sear and there is a moon. Some have a click, some do not. You can take the click in or out. This particular release has a click. The click, what it does is it's just a reassurance as you engage in to your anchor. You know, as you'll watch, I'll get anchored, and when I start putting some pressure on there, it'll click. It's just a reassurance that, hey, dummy, it's about to go off. Really concentrate on what you're doing. Again, I'm not punching it, I'm not throwing it. What I'm doing is I'm just putting pressure on my ring finger and simply pulling. Now, we use the word back tension in the days of really like moving your shoulders and squeezing that dollar bill. You can do that, but you don't want a ton of movement. You don't want to be moving your bow arm, and your shoulder should be locked. Just really concentrate on bringing pressure from this elbow through the back wall. So this is a hinge style with a click. Get into my anchor. You'll hear the click. And now I'm just going to pull and rotate. I purposely kind of took a little bit there so you could see. I use this finger a little bit and help with my rotate, and I'm just pulling and it'll go off. And last, same style release, but I took the click out, and I use, when I'm hunting, I don't have a click. You can go back and forth on if it really matters on deer or turkey. If they're that close to hear the click, you know, are they gonna jump up or are they gonna be alert? I just don't have a click. In the heat of the moment, this actually fires very, very fast, so I never had any problems. And I actually use a wrist style that connects right to it. So this release is with me, just like my index style, all the time. I just tuck it in my sleeve when I'm climbing up the tree stand or switch around in the blind. And I don't shoot with gloves on, so a couple different sizes that you can run with them. But so this is a release with no click. Drawing with my forefinger and my thumb, get into my anchor. And what I did is I got into there, I started to rotate a little bit. You find that sweet spot and I pull with my elbow. And that is the style. So surprise releases are gonna be your most accurate style of shooting, which in the long run, as many arrows as we're putting into targets now for turkey hunting, coming into the summer months, surprise releases is gonna make you a better shot. There's nothing wrong with an on-command shooter. As long as your pin is in the center and you can hold it there, you can still tell it to go off. Just don't punch the trigger. Ease into it, pull with your elbow. So just the first of many on Archery Country. We hope everybody's making the best of it through these crazy times. Again, you can call the shop for any questions and look to our YouTube channel as we're just getting things started here. If you guys are not subscribed, we ask you to subscribe. That little bell down in the corner, click on that so you get all of our notifications. And thanks again for watching Tips and Tricks on Archery Country.